Burgers with the boys. It's a love story between three men and one burger.
I actually did have a burger.
One burger? We have to share burger?
Nah, we can have one.
You guys,
burger.
I had 2 burgers.
Welcome back. You had 2 burgers
I had 2 burgers, dude. Okay, so I got off work at like 9:15. Right now, it's an hour later. It's 10:15. I'm tired, but you know what? I'm ready for this. I drive through some McDonald's. Not the greatest burgers I've ever had, but you know what? It hit the spot. Long day at work in the hot Florida sun. It hit the spot.
Well, I'm glad. What are we talking about today? We're not going to keep you waiting, but we are talking about waiting. Line cues. Specifically, I'm going to go specifically in Disney World. That's my realm of expertise. You
You've
guys
never been to Universal. That's why.
I have.
I touched on all 3 of Central Florida's biggest theme parks.
I have not been to like the big I've been to like California's Universal, and it sucked. But that's just that's a different opinion for a different day. I haven't been to the good one.
I touched on the 2 most important theme parks in Central Florida.
You touched them,
which is Disney and Universal.
Oh my God, he touched them. Oh my God, he did.
He touched the butt.
Oh my God, he did, guys.
Just kidding.
Oh my God.
So we're just gonna pretty much give our favorites, our least favorites, and just kind of like go from there. Line Q wise, I have a very differing opinion of what counts as a line Q than
Yes, you do.
Ben or Brandon does. We'll get into that a little bit later, but for now, who wants? How do you guys want to do this? Do you guys want to go? We each gonna say a favorite, and then we just go around the circle, or what?
Well, here's my thing. My list depends on what you guys consider part of the queue still.
So whatever it's all a matter of opinion. So whatever you consider part of the queue, it's your list, it's your opinion. You can go ahead and say whatever you want.
Okay. I guess in terms of that, I'm down to go ahead. Let's just like go through our top 5 one by one, like who picked one, who picked one. So I guess I'll start it off. I picked as my best queue in all of Central Florida. I took Rise of the Resistance out of Disney's Hollywood Studios. And here's why. So when I think of a queue, I don't see myself on the ride until my butt hits the seat. And I count pre-shows, you guys. So here's my thing with Rise of the Resistance. The pre-shows make the queue. That's the experience right there. That's arguably almost just as good as the ride. If you take the pre-shows out, it's easily probably my least favorite queue. I think it's trash without pre-shows.
Yeah, especially trying to get into the virtual queue is kind of a disaster. I know.
They need to fix that. That's complete garbage.
Yeah, Hagrid's has got itself figured out when it comes to virtual queue, I feel like, but
I can
that's
grab that,
just
no
a bias
problem.
thing. Yeah, well, yeah, multiple times.
Yep.
Yeah, Rise of the Resistance. In case my friend Will is listening, he doesn't want spoilers, so I don't know when he's going to skip. But yeah, it's a very, very well put together pre-show. All the cast members combined with the video projection, the story behind it. I think it's a very solid line queue. But when it comes to waiting in the actual line, I do agree there's not like super interesting things to look at. It's just kind of like relics. I think that Smuggler's Run's probably arguably better in the actual waiting of the line queue, but Rise is still very solid.
Well, their queue is also line pre-show, ride,
Yep.
which gets me.
Yeah, I agree. Matthew.
I'm a massive, you two know this, massive Star Wars junkie.
Mm-hmm.
No.
If you say Star Wars
line
tours, I'm gonna be pissed.
Okay, wait a minute. First of all, I was going to agree with you. I don't. So can we just for once not bully Matthew on what?
We're not bullying you. We're just having.
I have what I think is actually a pretty solid list. My list is more of just, I don't know. I agree. I love Rise of the Resistance. I think it's great. What I consider a line queue is I consider when you enter to the pre-show and that's it. Now, I know there are some exceptions where like, you know, like Brandon, you and I were talking a little bit earlier, we were discussing sort of the podcast topic, but you know, like Dinosaur, where you do line, pre-show, line, ride, or like Haunted Mansion, when you go line, pre-show, line, ride. There are some exceptions to this. I'm not saying there's not. I'm not saying that there's, you know, cues that make or break, but what I am saying is that in terms of like the pre-show is an extension of the ride. Dinosaur is a good example. As I mentioned, it sets up the story for the ride. I consider it as an extension of the ride.
Like
it's
a prologue in a book.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a prologue in a book. I don't think it's not part of the line. It's just if I'm going off line cues, I'm more or less thinking about when I'm standing there in the boring part of the what is going to lead up to the ride. What am I looking at? What can I interact with? What can I see? How fast is the line moving? Those are things that I kind of take into consideration when I think of a decent, good line cue. Rise of the Resistance, I think's phenomenal in every way, every aspect from beginning to end. The line cue is boring. Granted, the actual waiting in line part it's just stone. It's just stone.
Yeah,
that's all it is. You're going through a cave, but like the you know all the different pre-shows and stuff, it just can't be beat. It's incredible.
No, you're absolutely right.
Did Brandon go?
Or did you pick Rise as well?
Yeah, I was just riffing off what Ben was saying, and Rise was like my number 5 too, kind of.
Mine is different. So my list is gonna go off of sort of what I just explained.
Okay.
Cali River Rapids
is your number 1?
It's my number 5. I'm going 5.
Oh, we're going 5 to 1. Oh,
Ben spoiled his number 1. Whoops.
Well, okay. You know what? Screw it. I'll just put Rise at 5. I'm good with that.
The worst part about Cali River Rapids is the ride.
I mean, you're absolutely
honest, it's over so fast. It's uncomfortable, but the actual line queue. I don't know when the last time you guys rode Cali was, but it's beautiful. It is such a scenic, beautiful. Just like it's kind of like you're walking through the Kilimanjaro Safari almost. Like you're just. I love it. It's a very calming line queue. It's never one that I've had an issue waiting in. It's also never one I've waited too long in, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Cali's not a ride. I don't.
It's like a walk, like a drive by. You just go right through it, in and out.
It is, but like I'm a soak in every moment, especially at Disney World type person. So I really stop and take a look at everything I possibly can, as I know you guys do too. And just Cali River Rapids, it's a great line queue, and I think it's severely underrated because of the poor performing ride that follows it.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. I personally am not a huge fan of waiting in lines that are outdoors, but we'll get to that when we get to.
It's the heat. It's just, especially.
It really, like if you're just talking about simply the relic. My saying whenever I'm in Florida, whenever I walk into a building, I always say, God bless air conditioning.
You do.
I do that all the time.
Every time.
And lines that have air conditioning, I got to bless them for doing so. They did the extra work.
Just a fun fact, in addition to Brandon saying that, Brandon does go up to every water fountain in every theme park he goes to. He takes a sip and he ranks it. I do rank water fountains.
So just my own personal story, and I know, Ben, you roomed with him. You have the same thing, but my own personal story with Brandon really fast before we get into the next picks off the water fountain thing. Brandon and I, we went to a lot of parks together and we're chilling, and he does do this. He goes up to a water fountain. I have a drink by me, so I'm going to imitate what he presses the water fountain, takes a sip, he goes. I give it like a 4, and then he tells me what it's compared. It kind of tastes like Yacht Club. Oh, you know what? You know what? This is more of a Future World East type water fountain. What's it do with the West Side? And he's like,
oh my God.
And he does this, then you go and you're like, what? No way. And you taste it and you're like, that's just water, dude.
No,
Like, that's just water. But this dude's taste buds is like, nah, dude, that's Future World East water. They're pumping some new shit into this fountain.
So I came up my recent trip to Universal, I came up with a new system of exactly the perfect ranking for water fountains. Ready?
Yep.
So you rank it 1 to 5 on the temperature and then 1 to 5 on the taste. So then I would take a drink and then Ben would be like, all right, what's the ranking? And I'd be like, okay, coldness about 3.5, taste is about a 2. So then that would be 5.5.
I'm curious. I am curious though. What's your perfect water fountain temperature? Because mine personally, I like a nice middle ground. Obviously, you don't want it warm, but like if it's too cold, I feel like it kills your teeth.
No, I
Yeah.
love
I don't know if
cold.
you guys
I
have that.
love the cold. I don't know about you, but I hate the heat. I mean, I love the heat in Florida, but sometimes it's too hot. And I
No,
don't
but
know.
I mean, no one wants to.
Listeners of the podcast know this. I am a redheaded human being that needs to be cooled down because we're allergic to the sun. So the fact
It's like
that the
Howie
water
from
is cold.
Benchwarmers.
Exactly. I'm exactly like that guy. But I need cold water because, well, another thing with cold water is that you can fill up your water bottle and it's going to be cold for at least like 30 minutes. And by 30 minutes, if the water's not gone, then there's something wrong with me. But anyways.
Now that we've thoroughly discussed Brandon's water.
Yeah.
Let's get to 4.
It's just one of the quirks he does. And it's one of the things that Ben and I find so stupidly funny that makes us good friends. I mean, we all do. Each one of us has our own thing that we do that's stupid.
Yeah.
Brandon does the water fountain, and at least this is my personal. Brandon does the water fountain thing, and like he does all these stupid rankings, and they're funny. The sunglasses indoors is another fun little inside joke. Nothing to it. He just wears sunglasses indoors.
Not anymore with the masks because my glasses get fogged up. Yeah,
Ben
but anyways, all right, Ben, number 4. Let's go.
Number 4.
We'll get to his quirk later.
We'll just drop some quirks in. Like we'll sprinkle them in.
I do. Number 4.
Number 4. I don't know if you guys have ever done it. If you've never been to SeaWorld, I am going SeaWorld at 4. I am taking Manta at 4, and here's why.
Okay.
You walk through an aquarium to get onto the ride. Like, that's just cool. Like, the actual aquarium is not a huge fan, but like, it gets me pretty jacked up to see some sharks when I'm going to get on a ride. Like, that's pretty cool.
I've never been to SeaWorld. I'm actively Googling the Manta as you're talking about it.
So it's the Manta. If you've never been to SeaWorld and if you've never ridden it, it's like one of those roller coasters where, you start sitting up and then before the ride goes, it lays you on your stomach. It's one of those.
Matt would never go on it.
No, there's
not
no
in a million.
Hell,
for those of you that don't know, and I know, at the moment there's like 5 of you, but I am terrified of roller coasters. I am scared to death of them. It's not
on the internet.
It's literally, I don't care. I've done this in public. I've chickened out of my fiance took her to Disney World for the first time in years. She has been there, and she wanted to go on one ride, Tower Terror. The one ride, she said, "Can you please do this with me, for me?" And I said, "Sure, babe. I'll suck it up. I'll be a man just for you." We got to the very front of the ride. The elevator doors opened, and I said, "I will see you at the end," and left. Now karma, and now God gave me, and then she got so mad, and she went on the ride, and I'm looking at her, and she's arms crossed, angry face, understandably so. And then God gave me a second chance. God said, "You can," or some higher up, whatever you choose to believe in, I don't care, said, "You deserve to make this right." This girl on the ride, single rider, chickens out, she gets off. The cast member then opened the door and goes, "Party of one?" Party of one. Party of one. No one is raising their hand. I'm looking around like, please, God, someone raise their hand. Not a single person did. That was karma telling me, you got to go on, just get on the ride, dude. And the seat was like right next to Vivian, and I didn't. And it is the funniest ride photo in the world because they took it out, obviously, as they dropped. And she is so pissed off. She has such an angry face.
I have to
I'm
see
scared,
that photo.
but-
You have to find that for
You have to
us.
find
Oh,
that
it's
photo.
it's easy. We saved it. It's hilarious.
Oh, good.
However, I am gonna get a redemption shot because we are gonna try. I am gonna do my best to go on it. On the honeymoon. On the honeymoon, yeah. But we got off topic. The manta looks terrifying. It turns you sideways and then brushes you along water, which I'm assuming are just water jets. But that's cool. I just
Ask
never go on.
any of my coworkers what my reaction was the first time I did it, and it's pure comedic gold.
Did you shit yourself? That's what
Dude,
I would do.
I think I did. I
Dude,
think I might have.
Manta, okay, not really a hot take, but SeaWorld has some very underrated roller coasters.
They really
and
do.
I feel like that's on the marketing team for not really like showing like, yeah, we got some really good roller coasters.
Well, I think
I'm not
Mako's the
gonna-
tallest roller coaster in Orlando too.
Wow, I did not
I've
know that.
not.
I didn't either
I've
before
never
I went there the first time.
I've not ever been to SeaWorld, and I mean, I knew they had rides,
Yeah.
but like Googling the Manta, I did not know they had a ride that looks like this.
I think they have like, don't they have like 3 or 4 that are like that extreme? Is it? It's for sure 3, right?
This looks intense. Like this doesn't look like something that any little kid would just go on.
No,
The-
the height requirements are insane too.
The design of the coaster is just cool too. Like the car.
Yeah.
I mean,
pretty
it's
sweet.
really cool.
I'm
It's
looking
an
at
actual
it. It's
manta
awesome.
ray. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What's the name of that one water ride where you're in like this temple?
Oh, that's Journey to Atlantis, dude.
Journey to Atlantis.
That's
is
like
very good.
if Splash Mountain and the ricketiest roller coaster you ever been on had a kid. That's what that ride is. And it's
Yeah.
pure terrifying the first time you ever do it. You think
just
when you think it's over, it's not.
Yep. That
reminds
was
me of
a ride I remember being legitimately afraid of while I was on it. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, dude, I was screaming. It was bad. Here I am, this 23-year-old man child screaming like a 6-year-old girl on this water ride. We went down the big hill and I'm like this, dude, the whole way down. For the listeners, it's hood up over my face, like I'm not getting wet.
Is that the move for you? Okay, wait. Was it getting wet or was it being scared? Because the move for me when I'm scared,
No, it's getting
and if you guys look back at our Disney photos, there are some rides where like Splash Mountain, like, is one of my favorite rides, but it like the big hill gets my stomach a little bit. My move is always tighten the abs, move the like shoulders as close to your ears as possible, and then just kind of like lean your neck back and like open your mouth so it hides the fear behind a smile. If you look at any one of our ride photos, that's probably what I'm doing, and I'm terrified inside. That's how you know.
Dude, you gotta be careful with that one because if like that could lead to some unexpected
Some poops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you take major L's.
If you guys remind me before we end this podcast, I'll tell you about the time I shit myself on Expedition Everest.
Okay, we'll save that one for the end. Who do you guys have at 4?
I have at 4 Flight of Passage, the Flight of Passage, and it would be higher. It would be, but I, like Ben, consider the pre-show as part of the line queue. The pre-show sucks.
It does,
and it's almost unironically good, or ironically good because of how much you meme it. But it's very memeable, but it doesn't take away the crappiness of the actual material where I just can't get over it. And yeah, it could have been a lot better, unfortunately, because it's just the scenic view. The waterfall is fake, but it looks amazing. And just all the relics and like the big, I forgot the name. They named that Avatar guy in the one room before you go in.
The Navi.
Yeah, whoever
his
that
name.
one guy is, but
At
just
James
all the
Cameron.
stuff is just so amazing to look at.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4.
That's my number 4 as well, actually.
Dang.
For similar but different reasons. I actually didn't stand in the line queue at all during my college program. I refused. I was like, because look, I like Flight of Passage as a ride. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
As a ride, it is very good. I would hot take here. It's not the best ride at Disney. It's a great ride. I love the ride. I'm not talking shit on the ride.
Right.
But it's Soarin' taken up a notch.
With Mission Space, right?
It's like Soarin' and Mission Space had a baby. And like I would recommend anybody do it, but I would never wait longer than an hour for that ride. It's not worth it to me.
No.
But
that's a hot take.
I know people that would fight you over that take.
Well, no, and I understand.
But no, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. I agree with you.
Technologically speaking, the ride is phenomenal. It's a great experience from beginning to end. I would not wait more than an hour for it. I don't think it's that special. You know, like I don't understand why people spend their entire day waiting in line for that ride.
Yeah.
If it's your first trip and maybe your only trip for a while, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you want to experience all the must-dos, but like if you're like us that are fortunate enough to go there more than most people, then I'm not doing it. Not the point. Sorry, that ride, man, it gets me going sometimes.
I just texted the group chat a fun photo.
Wait.
Okay.
Looking back at our ride photos. Ben, you want to describe it?
Oh my god.
Let me transition us. That's actually a great segue to number 3. So I picked Dinosaur as number 3 for me.
Nice.
If
you ever done okay, go
that's the
picture we're all looking at right now, dude.
Everybody's watching. That's the picture.
Listeners, go on to YouTube or go on our Facebook page right now. Look up this video. You'll see exactly what the face that Matt is making because it's actually hilarious. I can't tell if this is real or this is just one of the stupid faces that we made.
No, that's Dinosaur. That's one of the stupid things we did on Dinosaur.
Okay.
We never, dude. Wait, it was the dinosaur picture. Remember when I kissed you?
Oh yeah.
So we rode Dinosaur a bunch of times in a row, and we were doing different photos each time, and I couldn't think of something to do. So I gave Ben a big old smooch on the cheek and hit that picture, his face in that picture. Brandon, if you can find it, since you're digging into those pictures.
Yeah, let's. I'll do 2 things at once. We'll do the show, and I'll try to find some funny ride photos that we can share in the.
Okay, well, while Brandon's looking for more dinosaur pictures, I'm going to talk about why Dinosaur came in at number 3 for me. So I put Dinosaur at Disney's Animal Kingdom at number 3. 1, because, it's about dinosaurs. Like, you see dinosaur fossils in it. The big, Carnotaurus in the main room, awesome. You get to hear Bill Nye the Science Guy talk about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
You can't beat that.
No.
And then the pre-show is the greatest pre-show that Disney's ever made.
Yep.
I will stand
Hands
on that
down.
rock forever. It is the best pre-show in all of Central Florida.
It's 110% the most quotable. I think if you are a Disney fanatic, if you are a Disney nut, if you know enough of the lore behind each ride and all the funny little backstage secrets and Dr. C, you know him, you know Dinosaur, and there is not one Disney trip or one Disney group that Hello There doesn't appear at least a couple times a year.
Right.
Yep.
It's just such a quotable pre-show.
The quote Hello There, if you're not talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, you better be talking about Dr. Seeker.
I agree. And if you're in Brandon's case, Brandon took that pre-show and he made a GIF of every single line. Every single one.
Yeah.
And I love them.
And I use them almost every day. Maybe
I get one at least once a week.
Yeah, you got to.
Brandon, what's your number 3?
You know, my number it's actually dinosaur as well.
No
So
way.
it's so weird. Like I got Ben's and then I got Matt's and then so this is fun.
Back
But
to
yeah,
Ben's.
we could just talk about the dinosaur pre-show all the time. And it doesn't get old.
No, it does not.
I could tell you a story. One of my roommate, his name's Noah. He used to work at
I
Dinosaur,
love Noah.
and one of the funniest things that he ever told me was he was working right outside after the pre-show, and like right when the person gets to the area where you're about to enter the like laboratory area, the guy's like he had this like really concentrated look on his face, and all of a sudden he goes, Mrs. Huxtable. And it's like, that's who that was. That was Mrs. Huxtable. That's who that was in the dinosaur. I'm like, oh my God.
Who's Mrs. Huxtable?
Who the hell is Mrs. Huxtable?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Hold up.
You guys didn't know that?
No.
The Bill Cosby.
Claire Huxtable.
Yeah. The Cosby Show.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
No, this is mind blowing for you guys now too. What the hell?
It's Mrs. Huxtable.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Look, I am not. I pride myself in not being a. I'm young, I'm 23. I pride myself in not being a young, out of touch, doesn't know what like the Power Rangers are type, snot nosed crotch goblin. But,
Of course.
but I straight up. I don't think I'm old. I think I'm too young to know who. By Mrs. Huxtable from the Cosby Show, I've never seen it. And I don't know. I have Google open. I've Googled so many things now.
Yeah.
My number 4 or number 3.
Number 3, bud.
Star Tours.
Star Tours?
Star Tours.
Star Tours. Okay.
Here's why.
Okay.
The ride itself is a tour service through the galaxy. That's the theming of the ride. You are getting on. It's almost like a Hollywood tour bus through the galaxy of Star Wars that obviously goes awry and blah blah blah. The whole pre-show, the whole queue is the airport. It's the spaceport. If you pay attention, you enter the space. You enter down a ramp. If you look up, all of the departure times are on a screen. R2 and C-3PO are working on the ride vehicle that you will eventually enter. You have to pass through security. You have to pass through luggage. Like it's just such, in my opinion, it's an immersive line that makes you feel like you're actually entering this tour service. You're actually entering and I think it's great. I think it's a great line queue. I think if there's plenty to look at, there's plenty to listen to. It never really moves that slow, despite what the wait time may say. I number 3 is Star Tours.
Okay.
All right. You have the right to that opinion. That's fine.
I'll give you that one.
I understand how it sucks but
it's got air conditioning. That's the thing.
God bless air conditioning.
God bless air conditioning.
Why? Wait a minute, though. I'm sensing, because my number 1, Ben, you said, I thought you were going to say Star Tours. And then Brandon, you had a very condescending tone. So I'm curious at the hate for the Star Tours line queue.
I didn't hate
it's not much hate. I just don't think that it is the best queue in all of Central Florida.
Yeah, like it's just not in my top 5, probably not even in my top 10, but it's
I might put it
it's really fun. I like the robots and
droids.
Oh my God. All right. Animatronics.
Actually, they're hydraulics because those ones particularly are powered by water.
Okay.
Ooh.
Science.
Don't mean to be a correcting Karen here, but
okay. You're going to be a correcting Karen.
Well, part of it is my love for Star Wars. I mean, admittedly,
Yeah.
I mean, like I will give it that. I understand how, like, if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, why are you going on the ride? But also, like, the line queue probably gets annoying and boring after a while. For me, it's just fun because, like, before Galaxy's Edge, it was the one time you could be inside of, like, a Star Wars building. Like, it was just really neat to me.
No, that's
Yeah.
solid.
What's our number twos, boys?
Coming in at 2 for me, it was touched on by both you guys. I put Flight of Passage at 2.
Nice.
I just like the
That's a good one.
bioluminescent stuff in there. You know, it's one of the few rides that has a bathroom in the line, so that's convenient for the wait times that you see with that attraction. But you guys pretty much touched on all the other cool stuff. So
Also, forgot to mention top 5 water fountain. So
Brandon's top 5 water fountain. There you go.
it's got one of those where you put the water bottle underneath and you can fill it up.
Yep. That's a must. That's huge.
Yeah.
That's
my old college had one of those, and there was only one of them in the whole college that had the water bottle thingy, and it was like across campus, but I used it every time I went to that one because it's just so much. It actually fills your bottle. You don't lose all that precious space by having to tip it.
That's fair.
All right, number
2 for me.
2 for you.
Daddy Haggy.
There he
Hagrid's motorbike adventure.
Haggy.
It is very, I mean, personally, I've spent about 9.5 hours in that line before, so that kind of sucked. But the relic of it all, I know Matt hasn't been in it, and I know Matt doesn't watch Harry Potter. That's a whole nother issue that we'll maybe touch on eventually. But
That should be next week.
We will touch on that next week.
Me recapping what I think Harry Potter is about.
Oh God.
We might lose views.
So it's got Hagrid's hut there. It's got an homage to Dueling Dragons in it. It's got a pretty solid they don't do pre-show right now. But the pre-show before is really solid. I think the video and the story is kind of neat. And I mean, the ride's the best in all of Central Florida. It's the best. But the pre-show itself, there's an egg. If you guys ever want to touch this egg, it's like a blue egg. Every time I go on this ride, I would go, I touch it, even though COVID. But
it's true.
They'll hand sanitize your hands anyways. So
is it like the vagina plant in Pandora that when you touch it, it squirts water on people?
No, it's not. It's just a stupid quirk that I do. Is like when a team is about to go, like a football team's about to go play, they touch the ceiling or something like that. It's like I'm getting hyped up. I'm like, bam, there's the egg.
I get it, but also
play like a champion today.
If you haven't been to Pandora in Animal Kingdom, there's this giant like plant thing that they molded it so horribly. I remember one time this little kid ran up, he jumped up and he like palmed it, and like just as he hit it, like this water came out of it, and I just screamed, "There's the money shot!" And this mom was mortified. She was
you did not. Oh my!
You were with me.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I don't know if you remember, but like she
I'm vividly remembering that now. I forgot that you said that to the kid.
She was not happy. She wasn't okay with me.
I feel like that mom right now.
It's horrible.
My number 2.
Oh my God.
Just gonna completely segue out of here. My number 2
it.
was a ride I had not been on until 2019. And in Disney, there's not many of those. There were 3 rides in all of Disney I have not been on. I have not been on Rock and Roller Coaster because it would just make me so sick. I have not been on Tower of Terror, although I came close, but it was not on Tower of Terror.
Close on the Cats and Horseshoes.
With the help of Brandon, Ben, Katie Lamika, Katie Doyle, and a few other of our Riff Raff group, Expedition Everest is my number 2.
That was a good one.
It is fun fact I learned. So I like I said, I'm scared to death of roller coasters. As our program was winding down, I really wanted to do something I hadn't done before. I spent 6 months in Florida, and I have not done anything new besides move there. And so I was super, super nervous, and I started talking to cast members. Here's a cool thing I learned about the line. Every single item in the Expedition Everest line queue is actually from Nepal. It consists of things that have been abandoned on the mountain. So like if you ever see like oxygen tank, like they have some oxygen tanks, they have like they have some backpacks. Those are all things that have been abandoned on the mountain that people have cleaned up. So those belong to somebody.
Okay, that's kind of scary at the same time.
Because people have the top of Expedition Everest is one of the most littered places in the world.
I believe
because people get up there and they take pictures and they throw shit because they're like, yeah, it's the top of a mountain, who cares? And so there's all this garbage, including a shit ton of bodies that have not been found on Expedition Everest, or not on Expedition Everest, but on Mount Everest. And so people routinely, the like the guides that make these hikes up and down, or like when people leave stuff at camps, to move up to the next phase of the mountain, they collect these items and they bring them down so they're not left on the mountain. They do their part. Well, Disney bought a shit ton of it. It was like, we'll take it. And they have tanks, they have backpacks, they have artifacts depicting the Yeti from like from Nepal, like all these shops and stuff. Like every item there is from Nepal. Some of the stuff is actually from the mountain. It's really, really, really cool. And it makes it even better to me when you see like wooden carvings of the Yeti and like these pictures that look like they were like drawn on hide, and all that stuff is actually from Nepal, and it's actually stuff from like different tribes and everything. It's super, super neat. If you ever get bored, look into the history of the making Expedition Everest, outside of just like what is commonly known, and like it's very entertaining.
Yeah. It was a great ride, looking at the visuals and just how well they crafted it, and not great water fountains, but that's a different story.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Well, you're number 5.
No, I moved Rise to 5. That's fine with me. You know what? That's fine. Number 1 for me, new number 1 as of, at the beginning of this podcast, new number 1. This is on the fly. Originally my number 2, now number 1, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey at Universal Islands of Adventure.
Interesting.
So if you love Harry Potter, this is the ride. You get to walk through the Hogwarts castle before you get on the ride. You get to see all these cool things from the movie. The ride itself, I won't do. I hate it. It makes me sick. I get motion sickness. So it's like, I will just walk through the queue with people and then I'll bounce while they go do it. But I just like looking at the cool stuff because it's like great callback to the movies. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. That's you got all the moving paintings that they talk to each other.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, and if you include the actual castle itself, because that is, technically it's part of the relic. You're looking at it. Yeah, it's a spectacle, man.
Yeah.
Mine was the other side of the park at Diagon Alley. It's Gringotts.
I honestly
was my number 1.
When you said other side of the park, I thought you were gonna say Cat in the Hat.
yeah, Cat in the Hat. The Dr. Seuss. He's taking a lot of flack lately, but we're gonna
no comments at this time.
But Forbidden Journey, it's a very well put together, and it's got a pretty decent pre-show. You go to Dumbledore's office, you go and you see Harry and Dumbledore.
Is it Harry though?
Yeah.
Is it Daniel Radcliffe?
I found a pipe bomb.
Yeah. Oh man, how many times did we quote the Harry Potter Puppet Pals when I was there?
Make it the next attraction. That'll be the expansion. There's gonna be a Harry Potter Puppet Pals ride.
If there's a Harry Potter Puppet Pals ride show, even if they mention it canonically within Universal, Oh yeah, it's just like in Harry Potter the Puppet Pals. I will buy a ticket and actually go to Universal.
And that's what it would take.
I'm gonna tweet
That's
at
what
them
it would
tonight.
take for me to go to
All right,
Universal.
Ben, new plan. Ready?
Is to canonically recognize Harry Potter and the Puppet Pals and
No.
make some sort of attraction.
This is what we're gonna do. It's gonna be me, Ben, Vincent, and fill in the blank on whoever else wants to play the other puppets. We're gonna go on the stage and we're gonna recreate the Puppet Pals, and we're gonna say, "Hey, Matt, we're gonna do this for you, even though it's not canonically accurate. Would that be enough to be like, okay,
It's
we're gonna
canonically
perform
happening.
on the stage
Canonically.
where they perform
Canonically.
shows, because that's kind of in an easily accessed area where we could maybe do that."
Yeah, that would be worth it to watch you guys get kicked out performing a puppet show specifically to get me into a park you know I'm not going to enjoy. Yes, that would be 10 times worth the price of it. I would
Right.
fail.
Well,
No, I wouldn't.
we'll make Viv. We'll give Viv the part of Hermione. I feel like she'd enjoy it. I feel like she'd do a good job of that.
Vivian, I don't know. I feel like she'd get stage fright.
Maybe. I'll talk about my number one. It's the other side, the other park, I guess, not the other side at Universal, not at Islands. It's the Gringotts one. I just like that one. I like the animatronic goblins. I think they're all very, very well put
Grandpa
together.
Tony.
Exactly. I think the inside the chandelier is just a specimen to look at in and of itself. And then once you get to the next section, there's like these newspaper clippings that kind of tell a little bit of the story of what time period you're in, and they have moving faces, and it's just a very well put together story attraction. It's a very well put together specimen.
Is it pretty well put together?
I think it's pretty well put together. I think I said that.
I don't know how well is it put together, Brandon?
Pretty well.
Pretty well. Oh,
when
okay.
they built the ride, they actually got free real estate. So, yeah, exactly.
Which has been the meme between Brandon and I the last couple days.
Yeah.
So I do want to go into, if I may have your attention, our bottom five.
Wait, don't you have?
You didn't give
one?
your number one, my guy.
Did I not?
No.
No.
You're gonna leave us in anticipation. What do we think it is for Matthew? I'm gonna guess it's Rise.
Rise was. Did I not mention Rise yet?
No, I thought you did at 5, didn't you?
Oh.
I don't remember, dude.
I was gonna say Smugs then. Smuggler's Run.
No.
It was a shot.
I don't know. What is it, Matthew?
It's nothing exciting, to be entirely honest. It's Jungle Cruise. Now, Jungle Cruise, the line queue itself, I think is pretty terrible, but I just love that ride so much. It's really hard to look past the faults of the queue. I like it. I think it's cute.
We're talking about line queues, and you said like maybe one of the worst line queues in all of Disney.
I know. I
Somebody
did.
didn't say Muppet.
Yeah.
Dude, Muppet Vision's. Wait a minute, dude. The key's under the mat, and you lift the mat, and the key is there.
It's just because your name's Matt.
No, to be entirely honest, I have no idea what my number one is. It's one of those things that constantly cycles. If honestly, if I would have to pick, Rise, Smugglers is good. I don't know, to be entirely honest. I can't pick a number one because I feel like it depends on my mood. Like there's not one line queue I'm like, I love that line queue. This line queue, my line queue. Peter Pan's really good. I like Peter Pan.
Good.
Peter Pan's
I forgot
solid.
that one.
Peter Pan moves slow because kids suck. But if it was just adults in that line, it's a great. By the way, I do want to work for Disney, so not all kids suck.
It's okay, Matthew.
Matt could beat up a 10-year-old to get on Peter Pan faster.
You know, it's possible.
Matt could be like PFT. He could take on any 10-year-old in America.
It's one of my favorite rides. But if I had to pick, if there's a gun to my head, we'll say there is. I like Peter Pan. Peter Pan's a good line. I would say that's my favorite.
Number one.
We do have our worst mentions in no particular order. We're just gonna say them all because we've just blown through so much time.
Yeah.
There's too many side stories with each ride.
There is
If one of them stands out, we'll call you out.
Yeah.
Sorry. All right, Ben.
One of mine is gonna really get you guys. But go ahead.
I bet.
So in no particular order, here are my least favorite 5 queues in all of Central Florida. Navi River Journey, Slinky Dog Dash, Kraken at SeaWorld, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Jurassic Park River Adventure. Those are my 5 least favorites.
If you guys want to throw in honorable mentions or extend your list, go ahead because I have more than 5.
Yeah.
Oh snap! I only planned for 5, but those are my 5.
Those are really good.
It's a lot easier to pick the ones you hate. So
it is a lot easier to pick the ones you hate.
Slinky Dog is terrible.
Slinky Dog is just hot and it sucks. Like the ride is okay. It's pretty fun, but the line
and you know
sucks.
What? It is every bit of the weight, if not more, that they post.
Bienvenidos a Slinky Dog.
You hear that every
Slinky Dog Dash.
30 seconds, and that
You get to hear that 50 times, though. That's great.
Yeah.
Navi River Journey could have been really cool, except that I feel like they dropped the ball and it's just kind of boring. There's nothing to look at. Like, oh, wow, you were able to weave some stuff together. That's so cool.
Navi River's kind of – because Navi River's it's on my list too. And I'm just going to talk about it now because I'm not going to list it twice. Yeah. It's one of those rides that it's kind of like when you're just on like – there's no end to it because you loop all the way around to like the center, then back out to the – and then you're waiting outside. It's hot, and then just as you think you're done, there's more interlocking line queues. Yep. Same thing with Seven Dwarfs, which, by the way, bad ride. Stop wasting fast pass space on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. You know what it is? It's a good ride. It's a fine ride, fine at most. It stops 3 times. The ride itself is 2 seconds long. I have a good time.
We should have a hot takes episode of like unpopular opinions.
Unpopular Disney opinions.
Unpopular Disney opinions.
We should.
Yeah.
Oh, and also, I don't want to touch. It would be a fine line queue if, again, the little kids didn't lick their taints and then touch all the gems that I want to play in.
What?
I like sparkly things. Todd. I don't know who Todd is. Every time I saw a kid I didn't like, I just imagined his name was Todd.
I don't know if anyone names their kid Todd.
Todd's like such a grown. When's the last time you met a kid named Todd? You don't. They're all grown up.
They're all adults.
Yeah.
I feel like Todd's one of those names that you just like. You're anointed.
Is
like
Todd short for anything?
Toddathan.
Toddathan.
Toddathy.
Teddy.
Maybe?
I don't know.
Brandon, now we've offended everyone named Todd. Brandon.
Yeah.
Sorry about it. I'll do my bottom 5 and we'll just get them out there. So I also, in no particular order, I'm going to go. I had Seven Dwarfs as well. And there's going to be some really hot takes here, I think. We got Soarin'. I think it's just kind of bland, personally. I think it's
on my list.
Nothing to it. Rip Ride Rocket. You hear the same songs over and over again, and it's hot, and it's just super boring. It moves fast, but you know what? Whatever.
Yeah.
Space Mountain, unpopular, but it's got air conditioning.
I don't think it's as unpopular as you think.
Well, I liked it when they had that game that you could play, and you could do the thing, and then they took it out.
I can't see in that queue, so I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
one.
It makes me sick. It makes me motion sick. Like if I have to stand and I love the ride, but if I have to stand in that line queue,
All those
those
things that move with your eyes.
those
I hate it.
yeah, the space ports that make it seem like you're on a space.
Yep.
I have to look at the ground. They make me dizzy.
Yeah.
It makes me
100%. I do too.
Now, when you walk on that ride, I do love like when you go down the steps. I like go all the way down. I just jump it. That's like the most fun.
It's a different experience walking on. If it was an automatic walk on, I would give it probably one of my favorite queues because it's visually appealing to wait in. It's too dark. It's too loud. It's too disorienting.
That's what you hear all the time. Sorry for the listeners for that one. And then People Mover is the worst one, I think.
Okay, but wait a minute.
People Mover is the worst. You can't argue with it. I know it's your favorite ride. It's a terrible line queue. There's nothing.
Line is absolute trash.
Okay, but here's my thing though with the People Mover. There's never a line.
Yeah,
there's not a queue.
Mm-hmm. There's last like 5 times I went on that ride.
You're in it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There is like sometimes backup, but you're on the ride 5 minutes. I've never waited longer than 5 minutes in that ride.
Every time
I
just feel crowded, and it's not like if the line is ever a line, I never want to wait in it because it's gonna go by so slow for me. But that's just an opinion. I love the People Mover. My dream is to get evac'd off that ride. Has it happened yet? No. Have people told me it's happened to them? Yes. To rub it in my face? Absolutely. Why wouldn't they? Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
For those of you that don't know, People Mover, getting evac'd off it is the most fun thing in the world because you not only get to walk through all of Tomorrowland on the People Mover track, everyone looks up at you like you're a god.
You are a god at the moment that you get evac'd off the People Mover.
Brandon, here's what I can see happening to you because this is the cruel world that you would live in. You would get on that ride, you would make it 5 feet past where you enter, and you would get evac'd off it. So you would get your wish and get evac'd off it, but you would only walk 2 steps. No one would pay attention to you, and you'd be off that ride before, and you would actually be on the ground watching everybody else.
Yeah, that's probably my nightmare. Like I probably had that nightmare before, and you just described it. That's all right, Matthew.
I have a list. There's more than 5 because I have a bunch.
Just run through them. Let's hear them.
Tomorrow, in no particular order. Tomorrowland Speedway. It's hot. It moves slow. It's terrible. It's packed. Shoulder. It's loud. There's not only do you have the Tomorrowland music, you have the cars, and it's too much. I don't like it. Astro Orbiter. You wait forever in line to get up to an elevator, wait in another line, and it's one of those rides that you have to wait for it to cycle all the way through before you can even get on. And then also, hot take on Astro Orbiter, it's fun, but it moves way too fast for as tight of a circle as it is.
Yeah.
I get so dizzy on that ride.
Dude, you describing that queue, like when you just get like the chills from like things from your past that you're like, how the hell did I ever survive that? I just got that, dude. Mm-hmm. When you were describing the Astro Orbiter queue, I got that.
Living with the Land sucks. The ride, phenomenal. Yes. The queue, terrible. Now, usually Living with the Land's a walk-on. However, I have been in the instance before where it's been like a 30-minute wait, and you're like, it's whatever. It's it's Living with the Land. It's not going to take that long, but like it just feels like you go all the way down a wall, all the way down a wall on the ride. It's annoying. I don't like it. Here's where there's going to probably be some not happy opinions.
Yeah, let's hear it. I can't wait.
Starting here, I have about 4 more. Test Track. Test Track's a shitty line queue. It takes forever. There's a million people. I'm not into cars. There's nothing to look at outside of like sculptures of cars. They never change. It's loud. You hear the same recordings. Not a fan of it. The customize your car thing, that part's fun. But then you wait in another 20-minute section of the line.
Except you can't do it now, so it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say
Test Track's queue is crap.
Yeah. I know Matt hasn't been Matt, you haven't been to Disney since COVID started, but
No, I have
the queue for Test Track now is even worse because, like, probably an hour wait, you're out by the it's very far out the queue.
Yep.
Hard to describe, but it's very far out the queue, so you're outside most of the time.
Oh, but don't worry, you can still go in the room where you can design the car. They just weave you in and out of the rooms.
Yeah, it's
Well, okay, but you
It's
also can't blame them. A bunch of
No, sure.
No.
touch goblins touching that screen, like you can't blame
Yeah,
them.
I mean, they
understand
still
why-
do.
Yeah, I mean, I probably would too. I'm a handsy person.
That's true.
So,
I know.
Soren I had loud. It's nothing to it. It's pretty bland. They do have some interactive stuff, but there's too many people. It never works.
Pre-show is great though. I will give it that.
I know that was one of the first things. I love that pre-show.
Nice work, pal.
Nice work, pal. Hello and welcome to Soren. My name is
pretty good.
Patrick. Space Mountain, we've talked about. Navi River Journey, we've talked about. Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin.
Come on, man.
It's
No,
loud.
I think I'm on Matt's side on this one.
It's loud. It's
You're probably right.
dark-ish.
I love the ride, but
The ride is phenomenal.
yeah.
But dude, that line queue, it's colorful. I enjoy it. It's just to wait a long time in. It's terrible.
This is just an opinion that I have. So I am a drummer. For those of you who don't know, and that beat over and over again, I usually just drum it. It's like blap, bap, blap, bap, blap, bap, something like that or whatever. Yeah, it gets old. I will agree. I like Buzz, but I wouldn't put it in my bottom 5.
It never worked.
I did think
Buzz is also broken all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
That curtain's always in front of him.
Yeah, it'd probably be my bottom 10, if I'm being honest. Bottom.
I think I'm giving 10 at this point.
I understand that. Yeah.
Okay. I have three left.
All right, let's hear it.
One of which you might hate me. One of which it could go either way. One of which I think you'll agree on.
All right, let's go with the one we agree on.
Small World.
Small World.
Small World.
Yeah.
Small World's usually a walk-on, but in the off chance you decide to wait for it, and it's one of those super busy days, it's a 30-plus minute wait, and you don't know. You're going to want to kill yourself before you get on a boat, and then after you get off the boat, you'll never do that ride again.
Yeah.
It's just... It's a bad line queue. It's cute, but it's not it's cute to walk through, not to wait in.
Agreed.
The one that could go either way.
All right, let's hear it.
Not a ride, but it is a line queue. The monorail, specifically from the TTC to the Magic Kingdom. It's always backed up. It always takes forever. Well, it doesn't actually take that long. I just don't like it. It's one of those queues that when it goes all the way down the ramp and then weaves into the center of the cortex of the TTC, you look at it, and no matter how long it takes, you look at all those people and you're like, it's going to be forever till I get on this.
It's demoralizing.
It's
like go take the boat.
Yeah, because especially if you're driving, we're going to Magic Kingdom, TTC, and now I'm sad.
Yeah.
I do have a love for the TTC.
Yeah.
But that line queue just kills me. Here's the one you're going to hate. Here's the one.
Okay.
I'm ready for it.
Despite our good memories in this line queue, Dinosaur sucks.
Oh my God.
Let me defend myself.
Okay.
Let's hear it, because
this better be on par with Scripture.
You know how many times we've been in that line together, and we've had some insane fun times together. It's a great ride. The pre-show's fantastic. But we've all been to parks by ourselves. Have you ever waited in Dinosaur by yourself? It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You wait in a room to go into a room to go into a room to go into a hallway to go into a room to get onto the car. It takes forever. It takes forever. Bill Nye the Science Guy comes on. That's fun until you hear it 5 times.
Yeah.
when you're in the ride with people and you're in the ride with friends and you do the stupid shenanigans that us three have, it's fun. But that with the Carnotaurus, the room specifically with the Carnotaurus, where you are just weaving into a circle, it drives me insane. And I cannot express to you how much I hate that part of the ride when I'm going by myself.
Yeah, and I think I'll agree with you on that. I think a lot of impressive things like
Sorry about that, you guys. I had to make a last second save to save the recording, and I paused it. So hopefully we didn't just lose everything. Shout out to Spectrum Internet, who can't support anything. Not even at 11:15 at night when no one is using it can their service be trusted. So if you have the choice between Spectrum and your grandparents' house that doesn't even believe in Wi-Fi, I'd go with your grandparents' house. Spectrum is trash. Okay, Matt, I'll go ahead and let you take it over.
I'm not sure where that recording cut out, but moral of the story is we love Dinosaur as a unit. As the actual ride crew, it wasn't built to wait in a long time. It's a terrible review. The pre-show's great. It just sucks. But on that note, like Ben did said, it is 11:15. We all have work in the morning, so we are going to end the episode here. But before we do, gentlemen,
I've been waiting for this.
I have a very important QTMBA.
What's a QTMBA?
I'm glad you asked, Brandon. A QTMBA is a question that must be answered. This is something I used to do in the Disney World break rooms whenever we were off duty. And each week I'll be asking a new question. You will be forced to answer it on the show.
We don't know what these questions are. Matthew comes up with these, and we have to just answer them.
Right. There's no just saying pass. You have to answer. Everybody knows the rules.
And Matt, you get to decide who answers first. How about that? I think that's good
fair.
thing. That's fair.
Who should answer first?
I don't know.
It's
you
up to
decide. You. That's the question that must be answered.
That's it. That's this week's.
That's the question.
Who will answer first next week? No, I'm just kidding. That would be crap.
Ben is answering first.
Ooh.
What's the question?
Well, dude, I'm pulling it up for you. I wrote it down.
You wrote it down.
I wrote it down. It's in my notes. Okay.
First question that must be answered.
Would you rather? Okay, hang on. Before we do this, no, it's great. Everyone answers the same. I was going to say I could do different questions for each of you, but because I have a couple written down. But no, everyone answers the same. The first QTMBA, Ben. Would you rather get explosive diarrhea every time you meet your boss, or get explosive diarrhea that brings you to your knees every time you see your significant other's parents?
Okay.
Ben, this is a QTMBA. What is your answer?
Okay, well, what's the difference between the first one and the second one? If the
explosive diarrhea is you are blowing your ass out. There will be shit up your back. There will be shit down your leg. It is watery. It is the consistency of melting custard. You are going to have an absolutely ruined pair of pants. There's no going back from it. You are going to have to throw the entire outfit away. That's explosive diarrhea.
Okay, I have
now
my
explosive
answer.
Diarrhea that brings you to your knees is the same thing, but you're laying in it.
Okay,
so it's all over.
Here's the thing, and this is a very prideful answer. I'm going to take option A in front of my boss. And there are two reasons. One, I kneel before no man. I am brought to my knees by no one. Second,
you wouldn't be brought to your knees by somebody. You'll be brought to your knees by explosive diarrhea.
That's why I'm not picking that one. Second one, if I do it in front of my boss, they're just going to be like, okay, you need to go home. Like, you can't work in that. So they'd be like, just take the rest of the day. I'm going with option A. Explosive diarrhea.
Brandon Holmquist.
Yeah.
Would you rather get explosive diarrhea every time you meet your boss or crippling explosive diarrhea every time you meet your significant other's parents? But
Yeah. Oh,
since you actively don't have a significant other, we will make a one-time exception to alter the question. Anytime you meet your best friend's parents.
best friend.
Your Minnesota best friend, because you see them most. And I have to make the question fair.
Oh my god. That would suck. I'm pretty sure he's listening too. So, let's see. If I had to choose between my boss, my job. I don't really see my boss too often.
This isn't a one-time thing. This is every
Yeah.
time.
Every time. Okay. You know, I'm gonna go with the best friends.
It's a good answer. If they're really your friend, then you won't mind.
Yeah, I think so. I'd just be like, yeah, this is just a condition I have, I'm sorry to Ryan that you're gonna have to deal with that, but you know what? It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the QTMBA. Brandon would shit himself in front of his best friends, and Ben would shit himself in front of his boss. Now that we've clarified this, I think it's a great time to end the episode. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, like, comment, share, and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening/watching on. Share it with your friends. Burgers are always better with the boys. And have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you are listening to this. See you next week.
Peace out.
Peace.